Hello, hello, people. Hi, how are you today? How has the day been? I trust you've been having a wonderful time. Yes, welcome again today. It's time again. Let's share ideas together. Let's talk about our children. Let's talk about how to make people happy. Let's talk about how we can encourage ourselves even as parents, even in this nasty era we're in, even now that we're not sure of what's going to happen the next minute, even in the face of insecurity, in the face of kidnapping. Thank God that's going down now. At least we're happy that we're getting somewhere. That is not to say we're not mindful of the fact that in some areas this is still very rampant. But we thank God that it's much better than in the past. That anything you listen to on the media is about kidnapping, is about killing, it's about well, thank God. But I don't want to dwell on the issue of that lady that was mobbed, that was killed, that was burnt. It's bad enough. It's really bad enough. But I know that God is taking control, because in all of this, prayers has its role, and it's important that we are mindful of that. We should not ignore prayers, even though there are so many things, even as parents, we can teach our children to learn how to do, even though there are so many things that can be avoidable if we care to know. Let's just pray that such will not happen again, and let's keep encouraging ourselves. Let's know that we are one big family, and the best we can do for ourselves is to love each other, particularly in this era and this time. The best we can do for each other is just to love it. That's the least we can do, the very least we can do. Anyway, welcome today, and tonight I just thought of a few things that are happening, particularly about amongst children, youth, teenagers, and young adults. And I just felt we could come up with something that can help us. Particularly, I was bothered about the issue of that lady that was mobbed and killed. And then a few things came up which I think can be very useful for us, even as parents, that we can encourage our children, our words, to be mindful of. Louis Ayodele Omojola, thank you for joining us. Welcome here. Thank you. I would also like your contributions. I always love us to have a contributory, interactive session. So today I want to talk about the issue of our youths growing up too fast. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. The issue of our youths, growing up too fast, maybe faster than their age, or getting matured than their age, or growing up fast than their age. This is something I think we really should talk about, because as parents we get carried away by the fact that our children are in the higher institution, get carried away by the fact that she's growing up, or he's growing up. We get carried away by the fact that they're on their own, and we think they have their assignments to do, they're doing it. They have chores they're supposed to do, they're doing. Some of us have put our children even outside the country, even when they are in their teenage years, and we just hope they're good enough to manage themselves. And some of us put them in boarding houses, and we think they are grown up enough to manage themselves. Some of us work, and then the best we can do for ourselves is to go work, and then teach them what to do. Hello, when you come back, pick this, warm this, eat it, and then we think they're growing up and then they're managing well. Now, in the totality of it all, are they actually growing up? Are they becoming of age? Are they matured enough? Well, these are a few things I think we need to talk about. We need to really talk about today. And so I will make it very snappy. I don't want to take too much of our time. I'm sorry. I don't want to take too much of our time, so that we just get going and then we finish on time, so that we don't waste our time. Don't mind me. I'm trying to adjust my sets. Yeah, I think it's better now. Sorry, don't mind the lights. Don't mind me. And so, growing up too fast among our children and our youth. That's what we'll be talking about. And when we talk about this, what are a few things that we'll be looking at? I want us to relate together. Let's talk. Let's make it interactive. Abekelu Adamilale, Olu Adamilola, Adedigba, Wolima. Thank you for joining me. Adebambo, Adedini, thank you also for joining me. So let's make it interactive, and as much as possible, we'll be able to share ideas. So a few things that I think we need to look at is the fact that this is affecting all of us, and we don't. There's no exonerating one person. It is. I mean, that's what we all go through. That's what we suffer. And so let's look at these issues and see if there are ways we can help ourselves. Okay, now the most important thing, the first thing on my mind is Taiwo Balogun, Otunba Taiwo Balogun. Thank you. It's been a long while. Thank you for joining me. I'm expecting your comments as well as we go on. Thank you for being here. Early schooling, I think, is the most important thing that is affecting our children. Thank you, I appreciate. Thank you, I appreciate. Also, what are the major things that affect our children? Why, and how do they grow up fast? I'm sure some people will be looking at me, what are we talking about? I'm not talking about growing up in stature or in physique, no. I'm talking about emotionally, in age, intellectually, and all of that. What is affecting our children? Bodukwe Busari, thank you for joining me. So I think the first thing I think is responsible for our youths, our children growing up fast than we think, is the issue of early schooling. Early schooling. Christina Olu, I appreciate, thank you. Early schooling. How do I mean? Well, we engage these children even at a very, very young age, when they're still supposed to be at home, when we're still supposed to be, cuddling them. In the past, they used to bark, when they're still supposed to be in the ambience, the comfort of their homes, Adebambo, Adedini, thank you, I appreciate, nice program. So, we send them to school so early. This is not our fault, really. I mean, we have to go fend for the family. In the olden days, the fathers go farming and they bring food for the family. But these days, most mothers are breadwinners, and you have to complement what the father brings home. We all know this, so we do not have an option. Early schooling is a major one. We send them to school even when they're still supposed to be breastfed, to be at home, when they still need the warmth even of the mother, But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do about this. We need to factor all of this into why they grow up and they age fast than they're supposed to. Jade Ajayi, ooh, thank you. Taiwo, teaching them our language and cultural values. Thank you. That's a good one as well. Teaching them our language and our cultural values. Yes, we're supposed to be teaching them our language and our cultural values. But do we have the time? I mean, do we have the time? Hi, Jade. I appreciate it. It's been a long while. I miss you, How's our mom? So, Tawa, I quite agree with you, Tai, that we need to teach them our language and our cultural values. But do we have the time? Where's the time? There's no luxury of time to do that. Medical sorry, hi. Because we have to go to work, we have to go fend. Most mothers are single mothers. They are the fathers and the mothers. They have to keep going. Even when you're not a single mother, what the father is bringing to the table, is it enough to sustain the family? We all know what the environment is saying and what the society is saying, what the financial situation of the country is saying now. That. Thanks, baby girl. I appreciate you. Now, so they have to go to school. They don't have an option. Even as some parents, even as early as 3 months, they take the children to the crèche, and that is, before you know it, they are getting used to certain situations. They are coping, and they are pulling along. So we expose them to this. We expose them to the outside world too early. They leave the home so early, and where they are kept, maybe they're not being taken care of. Maybe when the auntie needs to feed, she doesn't have the time to really sit down. So the time she comes, the men, you have to just cope. The child learns to cope with the situation, and then before you know it, he's smart enough and is coping well. He or she's coping well. Oyedeji, thank you for joining me. And then another factor that is responsible for our children aging fast than they should do is making money for the family. Hey, Dokita mi Kike Adidason. Thank you, ma'am. Early exposure to social media, that is the key one. Hey, key one. They are exposed to anything. When we say anything, they're exposed to anything. And these children, they are fast and up there. Even what you don't know as parents on the phone, they know. Parents should take time for children, listen to them, share their feelings, communications, and them feeling. Yeah, I agree absolutely. Exposure to social media. Yes, we all agree. Exposure to social media is a major one. The last topic I did, that was the bane of the discourse. We cannot even restrict where they go to. You can't restrict what they are exposed to. You have gone, for goodness sake, since morning, and you're coming back late in the night. You're fagged out, and and you don't have an option that to give them a phone, because you want to communicate with them. You want to know what's happening to them at home. Of course, so you have to give them the phone. Now, when you're not there, what do you know that they're doing? Where do we know that they are going online? We're not there to sit with them and say, no, you must stay with this. You must you're restricted to taking this. You're restricted to watching this. No. And so they are so exposed. They know more than we can ever imagine they know. Oluwatosin Iyabo, thank you. Victor Wednesday, thank you. My paddy, how are you? Thank you for joining me. So you can never imagine the quantum of what they have in their head. They know more than their parents. They know more than their teachers even in class. They know more than you can ever imagine. And so they're aging fast. They're aging faster than their age. They're aging faster than what they are ever supposed to know. And there's no restriction. We can't help it. So what do we do? I was talking about parents making money, because the family has to go. You have to maintain the family. You have to keep the family going. And so you must go out and make money. You must go out and fend for the family. So you can't sit with them all day, because you don't want them to go somewhere on the phone. And they have to be with the phone, because you have to keep checking on them. And sometimes they need to ask questions. Mommy, what do we do? Daddy, what do we do? This is happening. So you need to be in constant communication with them. There is no gainsaying the fact that we do not have an option about making them have the phone. Give phone good, but set up control device to monitor them, to save them from danger. Thanks, Otumba. That's another one. As parents, we have to set devices to monitor and save them from danger. Otumba, I quite agree, but how many parents are educated enough to know how to do that? How many parents are educated to do that? Oh, thank you, Iyalaje. Yalaji Odua, I appreciate you. God bless you too, darling. I appreciate you. Miss you so, so much. Thank you. God bless you. I appreciate you. So, like I was saying, how many parents are educated enough to know what and what to monitor, to set on the devices? That's a big one. That's a big challenge there. So, teach them you're doing it now. Thank you. Yes, that's what we are making this interactive, you know. Some parents don't even know that you can set limits for your children on the phone. Some parents don't know. And so if you don't know, so how do you teach? So that's why we're doing this. So as parents, you should know that you can actually do so much on your phone. You can do so much on your phone. You can set limits, set guides for your children that they can't go beyond this. They can't do more than this on the phones, you know. And when we do this, thank you, Yalade, I love you. Thank you, I love you. So when we do this, to some extent, we'll be guiding them, you know, so that they are not too exposed so early to what they're not supposed to be exposed to. And then being in their own too early in life, that's another major one. You know, they get exposed, they get so mature because most of the time they're on their own. So the time they're on their own, Olubin George, thank you for joining me. Taiwo Potoki, Kabiesi, thank you for joining me as well. I appreciate you. You know, we leave them on their own. We leave them to themselves. They come back from school. They know what to do. They know they're in their world of their own. And so when they're in the world of their own, we can't monitor what they go through. We can't restrict the way they think. We can't gag what they think. We can't curtail what they think. And so they're used to, what do I do? What should I do if things happen? They're used to, okay, let me try this. They're open to explorations, you know. And when they start exploring silly things, they grow up with them. And before you know it, it is part of them. And that's very dangerous because nobody's there to checkmate them. Nobody's there to tell them, no, don't do this. So they experiment so many things. They experiment so unimaginable things. Unimaginable things. And so this helps them to age and mature fast. Another major one is that we send them to school early. We send them to boarding houses, and then they are masters of their own. Otumba, make control another topic another day. Teach them techniques, advertise it before the day. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So, you know, they go to boarding houses early enough when they are supposed to be in the comforts under the supervision of their parents or their guardians. You know, we send them to school. Sometimes we can't blame these parents. Sometimes we can't blame the guardians because they're sent to school early enough. But you know, these are major factors. We need to talk about them. Don't be surprised. The children knows how to operate the phones. Even yes, you're right, Dr. Adedokun. Dr. Adedokun. Yes, than their parents. Yes, you're right. And then making them our friends also will also help. You're right, Uncle Alade. Thank you. Otumba Kola Olayinka, thank you for joining me. I appreciate. So, because they go to boarding houses so early, they are in a world of their own. They mature and age fast. They take decisions on their own. They administer decisions and they take decisions on their own, and they get used to it. And then they know that, okay, when this happens, I should do this. When this happens, I should do that. And so before you know it, they're coping, and they're adults. They're getting old. They're getting used to whatever they want to do, and they're experimenting. Okay, if I try this, what happens? If I try that, what happens? And they get away with certain silly things they do that they can't discuss with anybody, and consciously, unconsciously, they're learning and imbibing so many things at a speed they can't even imagine themselves, at a speed the parents can't imagine. You know, you think your child is in a boarding house and is under the supervision of a teacher. Excuse me, darling, how much can the teacher do? How much can the guardian do? Even as parents, how much can we do? Not to talk of putting them in school and expecting that the school authority will take absolute control. Don't forget that the school is taking care of so many children with so many needs. Can they cope? They can't cope. They will do the little or the best they think they can do. But is the best really good for those children? The answer is no. And then for us parents who send our children also outside the country to go and learn, some of them are not 18 when we send them out. And we're sending them to a world of their own, where there are no parents, where there are no guardians. They are their guardian, they are their sister, they are their mother, they are their father, they are everything, they are all on their own. And before you know it, they develop certain attitudes, certain culture, they imbibe certain things from friends, from peer groups, from the society, from the environment they're in. And before you know it, it's part of them. They've grown with it. And what do we see at the end of the day? You don't know your children. You think it's that child that you trained not to go out, come back by 7 p.m. But in a situation where he or she is left to be on her own, and then she starts making decisions, she starts taking decisions. She's the father, she's the governor of her own, she's the director general of his life, he's the director general of his life, and he takes decisions and nobody queries him. And before you know it, they get used to such actions, such behaviors, such idols, such behaviors, such morals they inculcate outside the home, and they get used to it and they live with it. And that's the adults they are getting up to. That's the adults they're growing up into. And so we have so many responsibilities to perform as parents. I hope you understand what I'm saying. And so allowing them also to fend for themselves. Even some parents are so funny that they have their children in their homes. It will be surprising to know that those children fend for themselves even while they are in their homes. I'm not talking about youth, I'm talking about children. They're so used to making money, they know how to make money for themselves, they know how to hawk. Olafajibe, thank you, my darling. Welcome here today. They're so used to making money. They're used to selling oranges. I'm making 1,000 naira today. Tomorrow I'm selling pure water. I'm making 500 naira. And they're sure that at the end of the week, I'm making 1,500 naira. And so they're planning on it. They're strategizing, okay, I want to buy this. I want to buy slippers. I want to buy my undies. I want to buy. And then before you know it, they start experimenting. They are cooking on their own, even in their parents' house. So before you know it, they are just being adults. They are grown up and they are doing so many things that adults are supposed to be doing for them. They're already doing it even from that age. And so when they grow up, they're already formed, and then it's difficult to change them. Some of them grow up to be nice people. Baba Peculiar, thank you, Baba. I appreciate you. Thank you for joining me, sir. Thank you, Daddy. Thank you. God bless you, sir. More grace to you. And so they are formed already, even while they are living with them, even under their parents' watch. And some parents are so careless that they don't even see this. They see it as an avenue, to train them. They see it as a opportunity, as training them. I'm training them. He has to learn to make money. He has to learn. But are we thinking of the side effect of what we're exposing them to? Are we thinking of the hazards, the evils in the society that they're growing up with? Are we thinking of such? No, we're not. So we have to be very careful, not to overexpose them, not to overexpose them. We should be mindful of the fact that they should grow according to their age. This, it's a process. You cannot jump any of the processes. If you jump any of those processes, it waits for you. And that's why we have adults today, young adults today, who don't know how to do anything. They can't make decisions. They make decisions that you look at some of them, you feel sorry for them. And you wonder how they think. You wonder the way they think. How would you ask some of them, how would you think of them? How would you take such decisions? Because they didn't age gradually. Because they didn't go through the normal process. Because they jumped certain processes. Somebody that's still a child, that you're supposed to even pick clothes for. That you're even supposed to monitor the way he or she grows. Mommy J, thank you. I appreciate you. We're even supposed to monitor the way they dress. to monitor that they put on their underwears before they leave house. We're already exposing them. They are grown up and they're matured even before we say Jack Robinson. Vivian Makonjola, thank you. So we really have to be careful about this. It's a big problem because I don't know how we're going to help it, because parents, nobody's going to take the responsibilities for you. You're going to take your responsibilities, but the responsibilities are overwhelming. They are choking. How are you, darling? Vivian, I miss you. Makonjola Moroti, thank you for joining me. The responsibilities are choking on the parents. The take home is not even enough to take you to and fro the office, not to talk of the responsibilities at home that you have to, not to talk of bills you have to pay, not to talk of responsibilities you have to take, as parents. And so we don't have an option than to leave them, We just pray that God help me to take care of these children, So these are major issues. And then the most common effects are the effects of allowing them to grow up early enough, or too early enough, or allowing them to be on their own. There are so many effects of this. Now let's talk about some of the effects of this. Number one is that they don't know how to take care of themselves. Poor self-care. Yes, I call it poor self-care, because Yorubas will say, they are still children, they're still babies, but we expose them. We leave them to be on their own, and then they cope with themselves. So, parents, thank you, share, appreciate you, Ola. Thank you. Please help me to share this so that we can reach so many people. Thank you. Please help me share. Let's encourage ourselves to share, and so that people can bring in more ideas. The best you can do is tea one bread one they will be on their own. But how do they cope? Parents school in 7. No, of course. The best you will do is uniform so make sure you put this on. But your children, what if he or she wakes up and thinks, I don't want to put on my underwear, Jerry. I want to put on just the uniform. Or, the parents are supposed to supervise. Make sure you brush the teeth properly. Make sure they take cold, warm food before they leave home. So what do we do? Some of them will forget their cardigans at home. They don't go with their cardigans. They will go. But the mother will know that cardigan, but the mother is not there. And the father is not there as well. So they'll just do what they want. And so before you know it, some of them will forget to brush their teeth. Some of them will forget to comb their hair. Some of them, the slippers, the sandals they will put on stuff. You will see some of them and you wonder. You'll be wondering if this girl, this baby, this child left home like this. But that's the best they can do. And what do we do? Is it prayer to she prayer alone to she? Because sometimes we over spiritualize so many things. I want come me what to pray okay she. But we assume that it's a big problem. And then some of these children too, or these youths, because they're left on their own, the only thing the parents taught them, they imbibe them, they get used to them. And that is work. Make sure career, make sure career, and that's what they do. So they read, and read. They're good at house chores, some of them. And then some of them read and overread. So if there's anything like overreading, they overread. And before you know it, they are not good in any other thing. They're just concentrating on the book. And daddy said I should read. So they're concentrating on that. And before you know it, we have children who are not streetwise, who are very brilliant in the academics. They're fantastic in the academics. But anything outside academics, some of them, they are nasty when you take them outside the academic environment. Some of that's the only thing they know how to do, because the parents that have taught them you must read. Hey, you my baby, thank you, God bless you, thank you for joining me. So the only thing they know how to do is what mommy has said I should do, what daddy has said I should do, and that is reading. They neglect every other thing. Some of them don't even know how to do any house chores because their parents have told them, look, I'm paying heavily on you, so just concentrate on the book. Concentrate on the book you're reading. Forget everything. We'll take care of the others. And before you know it, it's a big job. Good job, darling. Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Please help me to share so that we reach so many people. So it's a big problem. It's a big one. And then they're trying to take care of everybody else. Some of these children. I'm talking about some of the effects of them aging than their normal age. Growing up too fast. The effect of growing up too fast. Before you know it, some of them are, they are so used to taking care of people around them that sometimes they even forget themselves. Thank you, sis. How are you, darling? Been a long time. Thank you for joining me. Please, let's make it interactive, and then please help me to share. So, they are so used to taking care of other people, particularly the firstborn, the first children of the family. Mommy has told them, make sure you take care of your sisters, make sure you take care of your brothers, and make sure you arrange everything. So they're busy doing all of that, taking care of people. Are you okay? Eat this. Let me change your uniform. Let me wash this for you. Let me arrange the house. Let me do this. Mommy has said I should do this. And then they're busy doing every other thing, taking care of other people, forgetting themselves. These are some of the effects, of them growing up too fast because they are left on their own. And then they take care of every other person. They end up forgetting to take care of themselves. It's a big one. Also, some of them have self-esteem issues because they are so used to themselves. They are so used to themselves. They're not interacting with the social world. They're not interacting with other people. Some of us parents, the way we inculcate and put things inside these children's brain, it will be ringing like this in their head. They will not forget. Don't talk to anybody. Don't talk to anybody in the environment. Just make sure when you come back, just come inside, lock the door, and stay inside. And so the children are also doing that. They grow up with that stuff that mommy and daddy has stuck in their head. And that is the fact that when you come back, don't talk to anybody. Just come back from school, get inside, lock the door, lock the gate, and stay there. So even if anything is happening, mommy has said we should not come out, we must not go out. And they're so used to themselves. They're so used to me alone, me and my sisters and my brothers alone. And the issue of self-esteem comes in before you know it. Muftao, Said, Lanre, Shito, how are you? Been a long while. You've forgotten your sister. Yeah, I'm not forgetting my brother, even if my brother forgets me. Thank you for joining me. Please help me to share this. I will appreciate. And so this issue of self-esteem issues come in. Self-esteem issue comes in. And before you know it, they cannot mix properly with their friends, with neighbors. They don't know how to relate with neighbors. They don't know how to relate with them friends. Even in school, they learn to be on their own because our parents have told them to be on their own. Assist me, Sis Folusha Ayodele Ajumoti. How are you, ma? Thank you, ma. Thank you for joining me, ma. Bless you, ma. So they don't know how to relate to people. They're just on their own. They're just in the world of their own. They're just on their own. So even when they go out, that they need to get information from people, they don't know how to relate because they're so used to being on their own. Hey, Peter Kendi Mogaji, I thank you. I appreciate it. Bisi Bangboye, thank you, darling sis. Welcome. Oh, you want to be on video? All right. You will have to tolerate me because I don't know how to do this thing. You just tolerate me, Sha. I don't know how to do this though. I'll learn it. So before you know what is happening, they're having issues of low self-esteem sometimes. Some of them are cocky, some of them, they don't relate to people. It's just they mind their business. They just do what they're supposed to do because, we have told them, be on your own. Don't relate to people. Don't have friends, or you know how society is now. And they carry this and they are used to what we told them to do, and they don't relate to people, they don't talk to people, and they grow up with this. Before you know it, the issue of self-esteem comes in. They have low self-esteem. They don't know how to relate to people. They don't know how to relate even with neighbors. And that's why you see some of them, they will just come in. You have about 5 people standing like this, and they will just walk past you. Like, they don't talk to you, they won't talk to you, they will just walk past you and go straight to where mommy said they should go. You know, in the past, you can even talk to them, you can correct children, you can call them, hello, come back, show Riwani, you can do. But these days, you dare not do it, because they will go and tell their parents. And some parents are not helping matters. They will tell them, please, I don't want them to talk to my child, just leave my child for me. And before you know it, they grow up with this, and the issue of self-esteem comes in, low self-esteem. And I tell you, if you see people who have self-esteem issues, you will understand what I'm talking about. You understand what they become timid, they can't relate, they are misfits even in their environment, because they have low self-esteem. They can't relate. They're just in a world of their own. They're timid, and it affects everything about it. It affects them emotionally, psychologically, anything you can think of, because they don't know how to relate. They're not streetwise at all. The only thing they are good at is just their academics. Fantastic. Give them they read, they pass very well, and all of that. But any other thing, no, they don't know how to do it. So these are some of the effects of growing up too fast. Our children and our youth growing up faster than their ages. And then another one again is trying to do more than everybody, to prove a point that I'm from a good home. My parents have taught me to be good, and they told me what to always do, and I want to do it, and they want to prove that point, and they keep doing it. And you see them, they don't relate to people. It's only what they have gone to school to do and to read. That's all. Even some of them are so terrible to the extent that they don't even socially, they don't interact in school. Socially, they do not interact in school. And when you start noticing things in children, and teachers and words, I think we should all notice. We start noticing this, and if there are ways we can help those children, let's try and help them. I'll be glad that if parents will, what this and have an idea of what we're talking about. And then we must also know that emotions play a very, very important role in human life, in our growing up. Our emotions, they are so important. They're so important. Our emotions, emotions play a central role in every human life from birth until we die. Ola, thank you. Amazing show that every parent should listen to. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Please help me to share. Thank you. They prepare the body. Our emotions prepare our body for actions. They highlight what we should know, what we should not know, what we should notice, what we should jettison, what we should ignore, what we should guide. Our emotions, they guide our decisions and our actions. And so that's why we must treasure our emotions. That's why we must jealously guard our emotions. We must teach those children. We must nurture their emotions for them, because they don't know anything. And that's our responsibilities as parents. We must help them to nurture their emotions. We must let them know what is right from what is wrong. We must teach them values. We must teach them morals. Unfortunately, morals and values are lost in our societies now. Hey, Dabiri Omobolanle, been a long time. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you. And so we must guard their emotions jealously. Let's endeavor to teach them how to relate with people, how to relate with your classmates, how to relate with neighbors. It is not too much of a thing if you teach your child to learn how to greet people. Some children are so... You see some of them and you wonder if they're human beings. You wonder if they come from the moon. They will just walk past you. They don't know how to greet. They don't know how to say hello. Even when you greet some of them, they ignore you. And it's not their fault. It's because of what parents have taught them to do. Parents have put it in there. Don't talk to people, though. Just go on your way, Jeje. And you can't blame such parents again when you think of what the society has turned to. Situation where you just greet people and they hypnotize you and you start following them. So you don't blame parents at times. But hey, we just have to be careful. May God help us. So let's just find a way around it. Let's learn to teach them what is good, what is ideal. It's not too much of a thing if you train your children to know how to do things. Kudos to the AGMK. We need to keep advocating about our youth. Thank you. Bless you too. We don't have an option. We don't have any other job. We must learn to do this. So let's try to teach them a few things that we think will help them grow, because they can't live outside the society. They can't live outside where they are. They can't be an island. No, you can't be an island in your environment. And so that's why, as much as possible, we teach them what is right. Teach them to know how to relate to people, how to respect people's value, how to talk to people. Yeah, that's very important as well. Must learn to teach them how to talk to people. It's important. They must learn how to talk to people. You don't talk down on people. You teach them to respect people for respect people's opinion. If your friend says she doesn't like this, then she doesn't like it. Don't enforce whatever you think is good on them. No. So if you have a friend, you must teach them. If your friend says she doesn't like you being calling her a name, then learn to do that. Ajoke Teresa Bello, thank you for joining me. Learn to respect her for whatever she wants. If you have a colleague who says I don't like this, then learn to respect that person for whatever he or she wants. Makide Kafaya Tamusa, hey, thank you, you're coming. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. How's my darling Faith here? My regards to her. Thank you. And so we must learn to respect people's wishes. So we must train our children to know how to respect people's wishes. Respect people for what they believe in. Respect people for their doctrine. Because you belong to a particular sect does not mean you should undermine any other person's religion. No. We must teach them manners, courtesy, restraint, caution, and a lot of patient reasoning. Thank you, darling. That's just what I was talking about. Respect me for whatever I am, for whoever I am. Respect me for my religion. Respect me for my belief. You are a Christian, fine, I respect you for that, and I appreciate you for that. You are a Muslim, I respect you for that. You are an idol worshiper, I respect you for that. Because you belong to another religion, another sect, does not mean the other person's sect is inferior. No. Because you are Yoruba does not mean the other person who is Igbo is inferior. No. We all have our self-esteem. So let's teach our children to respect people, to respect others, to appreciate them for what they are. And particularly our youth and children. Let's teach them so that they don't bully their friends. So that they learn the right thing to do. So that they don't just trample on people's privacy. It's so important. And then a scientific research has said that early aging leads to deterioration of emotional function. Yes. When you expose them when you expose them to so many things at a very tender age, they age fast. And then they see their colleagues as inferior because they have grown up past them. What this one is still learning to do, he or she has grown past it. And so he sees the second person as, this one is still learning how to do this. What me I do, I've been doing. No. These are some of the effects of overexposing them, allowing them to grow too fast, And then we should also remember to teach them to respect decisions. When the school authorities say, thank you, Mr. Bangoye, share, appreciate you. When the school authority says we should not go out by 4 p.m., let's learn to stay by that decision, by that instruction. The school authority said we must not go out. And so let's learn to teach them to respect decisions, respect actions, respect people's opinions as well. It is so important. And then there are certain key characteristics of emotional maturity in youth. Thank you, Adeolu. Oh, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you. Thank you. Adeolu, please help me to share on your platform. Share this on your platform. I want this to go places. Thank you. I appreciate. And then there are certain characteristics of emotional maturity in children that you notice. Number one, taking responsibility for whatever action you take. Let's teach them that whenever you're in a place and you take certain decisions, and maybe the higher authority is questioning who did this or why is this so, let's teach them to learn how to take responsibility. Yes, I did, sir. Let's teach them. They must learn to take responsibility for whatever happens. Even if it is wrong, let's teach them. They must learn to take responsibilities. Yes, I did. And so the authority will also learn to respect them and know that this child is different. He doesn't lie. If he did it, he will tell you he did it. So let's learn to teach them and encourage them that it is not the end of the world. They must, own up to responsibility whenever you take certain decisions, and don't blame others when things go wrong. You must learn to teach them. When things go wrong, the best you can do is let's find way around it. Let's find solutions to it, not just apportioning blame or shifting blames. Some of them are so good at that. When things happen, it's not me, it's a social person that do it. So let them know that. Let's teach them. Let them know that it is not always right. They must own up to responsibility when they have done anything wrong. They should not shift responsibility. They should not shift blames. And when things go wrong, let's teach them. Let them know also that things are about to go wrong. And when things go wrong, it's not the end of the world. Let's teach them that when you own up for responsibilities, it's not that they're not going to kill you. Rather, they will respect you for who you are. And they'll know, this person will always tell you the truth. And that's a good value. Unfortunately, values are lost. Unfortunately, morals are lost. Unfortunately, some parents teach their children to lie. Master, warn you, don't say it's you. Just pretend you don't know what's happening. And we don't know what that is doing to them. Before you know it, they're growing up to be adults who are liars, who are corrupt. The society is corrupt today. It didn't start today. It started way back. And the people we're talking about today, we are complaining are corrupt, are terrible, are thieves. They didn't just grow up today to be thieves. They grew up with certain values. They grew up with certain morals. And then today we are seeing the effects. So let's try as much as possible to teach our children. It starts from little things, even in the home. For example, you tell your son, go and bring me that slippers, and the child is asking you, Mom, what will you give me if I go and bring it? I say, okay, quickly, I'll give you biscuit when you come back. My funny biscuit. That's not right, darling. What you're doing is teaching that child not to be responsible. Yes, you're teaching that child not to be responsible. Yeah. You're teaching that child not to be responsible. You're already teaching that child bribery and corruption. Because as a parent, you should be able to send your child. You should be able to give your children responsibilities to do without them questioning you. Bring me that slippers. Some people will go, if I was slippers, mommy, carry, please, I'll give you biscuits. Let's know that such things are terrible and that we're not helping them, and let's let them know that that's not how to live. And so it's so important we teach them to take responsibility and not to shift blames on others when things go wrong. Yes, it's so important. We should also tell them to learn how to show empathy, putting yourself in someone else's position. When we put ourselves in other people's position, it will help us a lot. We will not want to hurt the other person. We will not want to make that person feel bad, because you know that if I were to be at the receiving end, would I like this? I will not tolerate it as well. So let's learn to encourage them to show empathy in situations that warrant it. Let's learn to encourage them to put themselves in other people's position, in shoes, when they're relating with people. But when you're talking down on people, if people talk down on you, would you like it? They won't. So we must learn to let them know. So even when they, as little as children in nursery and primary schools, when they come back to tell you, Mom, such person beat me, hits me with pencil. What did you do to that person? What made that person hit you with a pencil? you must have done something wrong. So let's learn to teach them. No, you don't do that. Because if you didn't provoke that person, he will not hit you. So let's learn to make sure that we teach them to be empathic, to know how to show empathy, to put themselves in other people's position, in other people's shoes, and then owing up to mistakes. Let us teach them and encourage them to know that it is, you don't know everything, you can't know all. Korede Adebola, welcome here. Thank you for joining me. Please help me to share. Please share this program. Please let me to share. So that they know that when things go wrong or when they do what is wrong, let them own up and tell you, yes, I did. I'm sorry, I did. And let's teach them to always know how to be apologetic, to know the right choice of words to use when they're talking. Some people don't even know how to talk. It's a big issue, big one. Thank you for the likes and the loves. I appreciate. So we must teach them to know how to talk. We must teach them to own up to mistakes when they make mistakes. Let them know that it is not the end of the world, and it is not wrong. People make mistakes. Mistakes are bound to happen. When you make mistakes, you learn from mistakes. Let them know that mistakes are bound to happen. So when you make mistakes, don't shift responsibilities. Own up to it. Yes, I made a mistake. I'm sorry I made a mistake. I didn't know. And then let us inculcate in them to know that you cannot know everything. Even as parents, let them, even as parents, I don't know all. I still learn. We keep learning. Learning is a continuum, and we'll learn till we die. We must always let them know that. And then we should let them know that they recognizing and accepting needs, they must recognize what they need, their needs. And they must accept what they need. They must be open enough to recognize what they need. Mr. Bangboy, let's teach our young men that it's okay to show emotions. God bless you. Oh, thank you for this. Thank you for this. We Yorubas, we are very terrible. Shoma koni, mabara je. No. Thank you, Mr. for reminding me this. We must learn to show them. We must learn to teach them to show their emotions. They're human beings. They also have emotions. They must learn to express their emotions. They shouldn't bottle up emotions. And that's why we have men who are very aggressive because, they've been taught to bottle up. They've been taught not to express themselves. No. It is okay. It is right. It is normal. It is right for you to show emotions. If there is need for you to cry, please do. To relieve yourself. Let's learn to encourage them. Thank you, BC. I appreciate you for this. I forgot this totally. Young men, we should learn to encourage our boys, our young men, to express emotion. If there is need for them to cry, let them cry, please. Don't always shut them up. Don't let us teach wrong messages that no. No, they're human beings, for goodness sake, and they have emotions. So let them be free. Let them know it is right, it is normal to show their emotions. If there is need for them to express them, let them express themselves. Let them show emotions. It is right and normal for men, for boys to cry if need be. It is normal. Don't let them say, no. And then when they like something, at a very young age, let's teach them, express it. Do you like this? Let us encourage them. We always shut them up. We allow them to bottle up. Yeah, hi, been a long time. 1,000 years though. How are you doing? Thank you for joining me. So it is just right for men to express themselves, to display emotions. Please do. Let's encourage them because they're also equally human beings. Now, when we don't teach them to express their emotions, we teach them to bottle up. And do you know the effect of bottling up? It's also risky. We're not teaching them to be expressive. And so if somebody is not expressive, how does that person love? How does that person appreciate other people? So we must teach them to express themselves, to show emotions. Please do. If I like this, and let them be able to say we like it. And if there's need for them to cry, let them cry. Let them express themselves in whatever way they learn, they know how to. And that's when we will know them. That's when you get to know this boy is irrational. That's when you get to know this boy is too irrational, and they'll be able to tame and to correct. Kábíyèsí, Rotimi Obawuagu, Kábíyèsí o. Thank you for joining me. It's been a long time, sir. Welcome here. Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about our youth and our children, how to manage them so that they don't grow up too fast than their maturity, So it's important we learn them, we teach them to be expressive. They have to be expressive. It's not only women that cries. It's not only girls that cries. Men have emotions. They also have blood running through their veins. So if it's important, if there's need for them to express themselves, let's teach them to know how to express themselves. We shouldn't shut them up. We shouldn't encourage them to bottle up at all. This is not good for their emotions. It is not good for their psyche. It is not good for their psychological development. And that's why we have men today who are oppressive. Yes. We have men who are oppressive, who don't have emotions. They don't know emotions. They don't know how to show love. They're not romantic because they're not trained to do that. We didn't teach them to do that. So let's learn to teach them to be expressive. If you love something, tell me you love it. If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. If you need to express yourself by crying, please do. Don't let's say let Okuni baraje if Okuni has to baraje. Please do. Let them baraje if they have to baraje. Yes, please. It's so important. And then it is important also to let them learn how to communicate expressively. Let our children be able to open up their mind. We should be their friends. We should allow them to relate with us, to communicate with us, to be able to tell us what they feel, how they feel about situations, and then what they think. Because if we don't allow them to express themselves, the truth is that they will go outside to find people who will guide them. They will have friends outside who will teach them who will listen to them and give them wrong advice if you're not careful. And unfortunately as well, because we have the social media these days has, opened them up to what you cannot imagine. You're not telling them to talk in their homes. They're talking to people in California, in America, in Kaduna, in Sokoto, in Port Harcourt, they are ready to teach them what you don't want them to know. They're ready to teach them what you don't want to listen to. They're ready to listen to them. They're ready to share their emotions with them. They're ready to encourage them. They're ready to cry with them. They're ready to understand, empathize with them. So let's make ourselves available as well, as parents, as adults, as neighbors. Sometimes, yes. I will tell you a story. I once had a colleague. I once had not a colleague. I once had somebody in my neighborhood. And I always notice that anytime I come from work, she's always sitting by her doorstep. And she's looking so disturbed and all of that. And then one day I came back. I wanted to drive into my compound. I had to come out to open my gate. And I saw her standing by her gate. And she was weeping. I couldn't look the other way. So I parked in and I walked up to her to ask her what the problem was. And I don't want to say what she told me because she's likely to be watching. She told me, she poured her mind to me. And if you imagine what she was going through, and she didn't have anybody to pour her mind to. She didn't have anybody to express her mind to. And we became friends. And I told her what I want to do. No, don't do this. I don't want to go into what she told me. But what I'm saying in essence is that let's teach our words to be expressive. People have to be expressive. Let's listen to people when they complain to us. Because, for example, do you know that the issue of bottling up has sent so many youths to untimely death, to their graves? And that's why we have so many suicidal tendencies. That's why we have suicidal tendencies so rampant these days. Things are happening. It's only the ones that come up to report on media, in the news, or online that we see. Some are not reported at all. Things are happening. People are dying. Suicidal tendencies. People just tell you, I'm fed up, I don't know where to start from. Bam, before you know it, they're gone. Before you know it, they poison themselves. Before you know it, they're dead. because they were not taught to be expressive. You could walk up to your neighbor and tell, please, I'm going through something. Please, can you help me? Yes, you could do that. But because we're not teaching them to be expressive, they don't know how to relate. They cannot communicate. They can't even express themselves. They can't empathize. They can't see what you're seeing. So it's important we learn to do that. Learn to encourage them. Let them be expressive. Let them be able to tell you what they're going through. Let them know that you have confidence outside. Even when your parents are not there and you need to talk to people, let them know that there are people who you can talk to. Let them know that if you have serious issues you're going through, yay, Wemimo, my darling. How are you doing? I've missed you, darling. How's your mom? Thank you for joining me, Wemimo. I appreciate you. It's been a long, long time. Thank you. Welcome. Please help me to share this too. So let's let them know that it is not too bad. It is not a wrong thing to do to express yourself. They must be able to communicate. They must be able to express themselves. They must have people they can confide in. Although the right people, the right people, they must know, and they should also teach them to know who to express themselves to know who they can relate with, to know who they can talk to know who they can open up to. And so that's why our job as parents goes beyond providing food for you, and sending you to school. That's not all. It goes beyond that. We must be their friends. We must allow them to communicate with us. We must allow them to be expressive, no matter how silly some things are, some issues are. Let them express themselves. Yes, it is so important. And then we must also teach them to know how to set healthy boundaries. Even when they have to relate with people, even when they have to relate with neighbors, even when they have to relate with their colleagues, with their friends in school, they must learn to set healthy boundaries. Some people take advantage. They take advantage of whatever situation they find them, and they want to capitalize on that, and they, deal with them, mess them up, abuse them, sometimes sexually. Yes, sometimes sexually. So it is important we learn to teach them how to relate and how to set healthy boundaries. It is so important. And then we should also tell them and teach them to know when to rise up when someone tries to put them down. We must let them know that, look, you're so important. Nobody can run you down. Nobody can run you down. No, you're so important. I'm important, you're important. And so that's where the issue of respect also comes in. They must learn to respect people for who they are. They must learn to respect people's ideals. It is important to know this. Respect people for their ideals. Respect them for who they are. And then take responsibilities when there is need to do that. It is so important. And then in all of this that we have spoken about, that we have talked about this, is age a factor in all of this? Do you think age is a factor in all of this? Yes, aging faster than you think. Is age a factor? I think age may be a factor and might not be, because sometimes you see younger people behaving maturely than people who are even older. Yes. Omabola Olawale, welcome here. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate. So we should learn to respect people. We should learn to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. We should learn to know that children need to be monitored. It goes beyond, I have paid school fees, I've provided for all you need, and then you should be on your own. No. So let's learn to set boundaries. Let's learn to respect our children. Let's learn to be their friends such that they can tell us whatever they're going through. They can tell us whatever situation they're in. And let's teach them also to be empathic. Let's teach them to respect people for who they are. Yes, to take responsibilities, respect people for who they are. Respect people's religion, opinion, decisions. Yes, we should teach them to take such actions. Well.
I said I was going to spend 30 minutes. Unfortunately, we've gone past that. So today we talk about growing up too fast, youths and children, the effect of youths growing up early. There's a few things I've talked about. If you have comments and you want us to talk, issues you want us to discuss, you can please put them on the table and let's discuss them. And if there are issues I forgotten to chip in, please help me out, chip that in. And then one more thing you can do for me, please, let's share this discourse so that so many people will get to see this, and then we can encourage ourselves. Well, I'll be stopping here, and then I hope some very sneaking will be relating. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I appreciate you. Thank you for your time. Wamimo, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. My regards. Thank you, Mobola Olawale. Thank you. I appreciate. Bye for now. See you soon.